Good morning, third and fourth grade, or good afternoon, or good evening. This is Mrs. Soto, and we are going to start our very first art project of the school year. It's an easy one, and it's a fun one. So we're just going to be writing your name, and if you want to do your nickname instead, that's totally fine, nothing inappropriate. Your first name, your last name, your nickname, anything. So here's my example. It's backwards right now. In a minute, I'm going to flip my camera around so it looks normal. So I have my name. I made my letters a little extra fancy by changing the sizes, and I put a little circle at the end of each letter. I outlined it with, instead of just like a rectangle or an oval, I did a big zigzag around it. And you can see I actually did a triple line around it and then did some fun stripes in the background. Here's a totally different one. Instead of a zigzag, again, I just wrote my name normal, but instead of a zigzag, I sort of followed the shape of the letters. And again, I actually did a double outline for my name, but instead of stripes in the background, I did a whole bunch of circles. When you're coming up with your idea, you don't want to just do a million different things. You want there to be some repetition. So on here, I have lots of circles happening, some big, some small. On here, I have lots of stripes happening. Some are thick, some are thin, but there's some repeating things in my design. Let me show you a couple. This one's a little simpler, but it still is fine. My name with a rectangle and just some patterns with stripes. And then this one here has a checkerboard pattern in the background. You can see that I have a full-size paper and a half-size paper. If you think your design is going to take you a really, really long time, instead of doing it on a whole piece of paper, you can fold your paper in half, okay? And you're gonna be using the printer paper that's in your yellow folder. Okay, so if you're gonna have a very complicated design, just use half of a sheet of paper. If you think you need a lot more space, then use a whole piece. It's your choice. But again, you're using the printer paper from the yellow folder. All right, I'm gonna teach you a couple things here, and then I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna grade you on this assignment. So I'm gonna switch the camera around. Here we go. Okay, so here's my pile of art supplies. I'm gonna put my camera on my little stand here. I'm in my basement doing my art. Okay, alrighty. So let me teach you. Some of you maybe thought the checkerboard pattern was cool. That checkerboard pattern is pretty easy, but it takes a long time to color in. And you're probably gonna like use up your markers. By the way, you can use crayons instead. You don't have to use markers. Crayons are totally fine. I'm using markers because it shows up better on the camera. I'm gonna show you how to make some really cool block letters in a couple minutes. But for now, let me just do, oh, here, I already started one. All right, so there's my name, nice and easy. Maybe I'll make it a little fancy by putting some dots on the ends. Okay, and I have my outline. How about I do a double outline just to make it a little bit more interesting? You're in third and fourth grade. You guys are really smart and creative. I want you to do something and then look at it and say, how can I make it even cooler? I might even, go around here and add little polka dots the whole way around. You get the idea. All right, so here's how I did this checkerboard. I started with horizontal lines. Instead of going straight, I made them wavy. You could make them straight, you could make them wavy. You could even do zigzag, but that could get a little complicated. But be creative. I'm just gonna be super basic and a little bit wavy. So I'm gonna start vertical. This line here is gonna go behind my name. So it comes down, I lift up my marker and I put it down again. Go down, lift up my marker, put it down. Okay. And you know what? If I were you, I would put an extra piece of scrap paper underneath. That way, if you're sitting at your dining room table, you don't get marker on your table, because I bet somebody in your family is going to be annoyed about that. All right, so there's all my vertical lines. And then my horizontal lines, I'm actually going to turn my paper this way. Same thing, I draw, imagine the line going behind my name, and it comes out the other way. Okay, and one more. Now, coloring it in is simple, but if you're not careful, it's going to look like a mess. So obviously that's really sloppy. You gotta really take your time. So color one, skip one, color one, go right to the edge. See how I'm getting it on that paper instead of the table? Okay, and do the whole way across. So color, skip, color, skip, color, skip. Then on the next row, I don't want green next to it. I'm gonna put the green right here. Color, skip, color, skip, color, skip, and so on. I think you guys get the idea. All right, next I'm gonna quickly show you if you wanted to do block letters. Oh, I forgot to tell you something important. Guys, notice that my name is not super big. I have about the space of my hand on each side of my name. You want to write it kind of small so that you have room for your designs, right? So if you mess up, you have your handy dandy eraser and this amazing thing called the back of the paper. So if you mess up, just flip your paper over, all right? Okay, last thing I'm going to show you. If you're really good at doing block letters, oh, I don't have any examples here. Well, I'm going to show you now. If you're really good at doing block letters, go for it, or bubble letters, go for it, but you don't have to. But here's how to do it. If you don't know how to do it and you want to try it, very lightly with a pencil, you're going to write your name. Okay, and then what I like to do, you can do this with a pencil, but I'm just going to do it with a marker, is I'm going to go around the outside of my letters, but I'm never actually going to touch the pencil. So I'm going all the way around the outside, but I'm never touching the pencil. Okay, here's my letter O. I'm going all the way around the outside. See how they actually touch each other? Never touch the pencil, and then I have to go on the other side of the pencil. So I do the inside. All the way around the outside of my pencil, around the inside of that, and the outside of that. Okay, then make sure the marker is dry, and then you can erase the inside. Don't lose this eraser. You guys know these are the super fancy good erasers. Don't lose them because they're awesome. It'll last you like until high school if you take care of it. They're amazing. All right, and it's yours to keep forever. So that's my block letters. Now, if you want to make it look 3D, you have to decide, do you want the 3D shadow to go above or below or to the right or to the left? If this doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. I'm going to make my shadow on the bottom half of my letter. So just underneath, on all of the underneath edges, so here's the top of my S, I'm going to put a shadow on the bottom part of my S. I'm just going to make it a little thicker. And underneath, okay? And now it kind of looks like a 3D S, all right? So I'm going to do underneath and a little bit to the side for everything. I'm just making it thicker. Underneath and a little bit on the side. Now my coloring isn't super great, but that's okay. All right, so that's how you can do block letters. You do not have to, but that's how you do it if you want to. All right, so that's the project. Here are your goals, your objectives. This is what I'm going to grade you on. Okay, I am grading you on neatness. Do not color in sloppy. Okay, so if you're doing that grid, even though it's complicated, I expect it to be colored in really neatly. You're in 3rd and 4th grade, you can do this. Creativity, I showed you a ton of examples. You can take ideas like, oh, I want to do this, or maybe I'll do the circles, but please don't copy the whole entire thing. I want you to come up with your own amazing ideas, okay? You guys are smart and have tons of good stuff in your brains. Yours could look totally different than mine. The only requirement is that you have your name and some really fun designs around it. Please be creative. Surprise me. You can do something totally different. It just needs to be your name and lots of cool things happening around it. Lastly, I'm grading you on use of space. And what this means is fill your whole paper, right? This whole design takes up the whole space. Remember, if you're going to do something really complicated, a half of sheet of paper is fine, but you really need to fill the whole thing. All right, guys? You are going to have fun. It's going to be amazing. When you are done, you have to send me a picture. All right? I want to see it when you're done. There's instructions online. Get back to my face. There I am. There's instructions online about how to send me a picture. I want to see what it looks like when you're done. Have a great time. Bye, everybody.